All right, here's another one for the MIDI folks out there. We're going to assign the pressure sensitivity on the pads. We're going to assign that to a control to where we can mess with one of the effects that are available on a particular pad in Impact. I'm going to show you how to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right to the classroom here, and you can see I got the Atom right here, and I have Impact open right here. So now if I go back to the manual here, actually I should have started here. We're going to be using some of these options here in the MIDI assignments area. You've got off, MIDI CC, after touch, and then channel pressure. We're going to be actually turning on the MIDI CC. So if I hit the setup button right here, if you guys remember from the first video, if I hit this, all of the pad colors change, and the default for the purple area here is off. So if you look on the chart on the right, you can see that the first pad, or that would be pad number 5, is the off pad. And what we want to do is we want to set this to pad number 6. So I'm going to go ahead and hit number 6. Now you can see pad number 6 is lit up, and according to the chart, that turns on our MIDI CC, and that is going to be for the pressure command. So I'm going to let go of that, and that is all set. So now we're going to go back to the classroom. What we're going to do is we're going to assign that pressure to one of the controls here. So if you look here at the top in Control Link, I want you to look right here where it says pressure. Okay, you guys can see that right there. So right where it says pressure, as I hold the pad, look at the numbers, at the actual adjustment. As I push harder on the pad, the number goes higher and then lower, higher and then lower. There we go, just like that. Now, let's see if we can change it. Right now, it's going from 0 to 127. All right, so now, if you look at the chart on the right, you can actually see, let me go ahead and get out of this. There we go. If you go over on this side here, let's go to the manual. If you look at this right here, you can actually see we have 2 options for that pressure command. We can go from 0 to 127 or 127 to 0. Let's see if that works here. So I'm going to hit the setup button right here, and you can see right now what mode are we in. We're actually in orange, so we want red, 127 to 0. So let's see how Control Link actually views that. So now we're back in here. Let's go ahead and zoom in right here. We're going to, oops, actually I zoomed in on the wrong spot. We're going to go here. There we go. And we're going to zoom in right here on the pressure. So let's see what this does here for the pressure. There we go. You can see that now we're starting at 100. And when I push and I push the pressure down, you can see now that the control is reversed because I hit that pressure range toggle. I went from orange to red, and now when I press the pad, it starts at 100 and goes down to 0. And as I let go of the pad, it goes back up to 100. So you can see how the setting here in our little sheet here worked out really well. So what I want to do is I actually want to go back to the 0 to 127, just like that. So now I'm back in orange, just like that. And now we're back into our mode. Let's go back to our classroom. There we go. So now let's go ahead and assign the pressure. We've decided to go from 0 to 127. So when we hit a pad, let's see, what do we want to control? Let's try the filter. Okay, we're going to try the filter. So if I hit, now remember, you got to keep an eye on this right here. Okay, so if I go ahead and let's see the pitch, you can see I selected the transpose, and it changed in the command window here. I want to select filter, just like that. And then I want to hit one of the pads to activate the pressure. And you can see now the pressure has activated. And as I hit the pad from 0 to 100 and then back again. And now what I want to do is I want to assign this cutoff to the pressure. Now, if you remember from the last video, since we're in focus mode, let's see if there is a focus option available in the drop-down, and there is. So we're going to select focus and then link the two. And now I want you to watch the knob here. It now moves. There we go, from 0 to 127 when I push. If I go back, let's go back to here to the manual, and let's look at this area right here. If I change this to red mode, that's 127 to 0. Let's go back to the classroom. Just like this. Now I want you to watch the numbers up here again. And I want you to watch the filter knob. As I press it, you can see it starts up and turns down. Maybe we'll use that one. Let's try that one before we go backwards. So it's going to start at wide open, and it's going to get darker because we're actually adjusting the cutoff. So what control would we want to do with that? Okay. I like the clap sound right there because it's got a lot of sustain. And you can tell as I push the pad for the clap, you can see that the adjustment is moving, but it's not changing the sound. Well, that's because we have the filter off. So let's turn the filter on and let's see what we got. There we go. And that would be for any pad that has the filter option on. I could have assigned that. Also, I could have assigned it to the transpose, and we would have something really weird going on there. But since the kick drum doesn't have the filter option on, it doesn't affect it. Only the clap is affected because it's the only pad that I have the filter on. Tell me that's not cool. So if I go through that, I can go ahead and in the Atom, I can select here, I can select the setup, and I can change from 127 to 0 so that it starts dark and gets light as I push it, however I want to do it. But that is how to assign the pressure command for each of the individual pads to a particular pad's sound via the filter option. And that is really simple to do. And it is literally just that simple. Making sure that you're in focus mode. Making sure that in control link you have selected the pressure. Making sure that when you assign the command that you assign the focus version of the cutoff. And then, last but not least, going into, let's go back here to the manual setup and going into your setup and choosing whether you want a range upwards or downwards, and making sure that you have the MIDI CC command activated so that the pressure works. This same setup works with the aftertouch, so it is very controllable. And then if you just don't want any of the pads to control anything like pressure, you can turn the whole thing off, and there you have it. So I hope that you guys found that helpful. It is really easy, and you can assign that to anything. You can assign it to a fader. You can assign it to the pan control in your mix. It doesn't have to be only assigned to the controls in Impact. You can literally control a pad and assign that to a volume level in MT Power, in Presence. So whatever control link option will allow you to assign that command, Control Link will do it. Just make sure that you are in the focus mode, and that was a simple one, and I will see you in the next video.